This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Steph Tolev, and boy, do we get into it. From her first years doing stand-up and some of the closers that she did, including making Keith Richards out of her foot, or a podcast where she only interviews people that are in full-body casts, all the way to the personal issues of don't go back to your ex. Never go back to your ex. Bad idea. It's a wonderful episode. Hilarious. Maybe the hardest I've laughed. Sorry, everybody else that's been on this show. But here we go. Dumb pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm your host, Monica Nevi. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. And I am beyond elated to have our guest at a working podcast this week. Make some noise, everybody, in your homes for Steph Tolev. Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for also pronouncing my name properly. You would be alarmed at how many people can't say Tolev.
What do they say?
Tolev, that's very American. Or the big Toleve, and I'm like, you're adding extra letters here. I don't know.
You're complicating this for no reason. I think I've just, well, you are you're Canadian. If we're allowed to tell everyone, you are Canadian.
Yeah, it's been outed for a bit now.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm from Seattle and I'm close, but I have a lot of like Canadian comedy friends, and they all know and love you, and I feel like I've just watched your stuff for long enough to have heard your name said correctly. So,
well, there we go. Thank you so much for all of those things that you just said.
You are welcome. Well, thank you for being here. I'm excited. We're making it work. We always like to start with our guests' good ideas so that people know you've had good ideas, you have some credibility before we get into your bad ideas.
Yeah.
So, Steph Tolev, you have, let's see, you've been a Comedy Central. You were on Bill Burr's The Ringers. You have a special for unprotected sets on Epics. You wrote, created, and starred in Steph and Deb for Comedy Central as well, with you and Deb DiGiovanni. Very funny. You have 4 comedy albums. You have a new podcast called Steph Infection, which seems to be going really, really great, among plenty of other things, including winning awards for Best Female Stand-Up in Canada and all this stuff. I mean, really, really an impressive list of good ideas.
Thank you. What you need to know about that Canadian Comedy Award that I need to tell people about is that you most certainly have to nominate yourself and pay $60. So I sure, it might be a brag to some people, but when I explain that, it really was just something that Canadians have to do to get a green card, because you have to win, like you have to get enough.
You have to win an award
It's one of the, you have to, to get a green card, there's 10 sections, and one of them is awards and nominations, and you must get it's good. It helps you to get a green card to have like
whatever. I didn't know that, but let's not forget that even to get a Grammy you have to spend like $2,500 to be nominated. Right. So that's not that crazy, but I didn't know that would help you get a green card.
yeah, that was years ago, and I also didn't think I was going to win, so I ate a wheat brownie before they announced the results. And I gave the worst speech. Did you ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, Colin Mockery, you know Colin Mockery?
Yes.
He was in the front row, and I literally went on and I was like, well, here we go. And I was like, Colin's here, big whoop. And I'm like, what am I doing? And like all of my comic friends were like, I got off stage, my one friend was like, that was the worst speech it was so bad. I wasn't funny. I was like, well, look at now what? And I was being like such a piece of shit. And I was like, my agents were like, what are you doing up there? Like, it was morbidly embarrassing.
You're like, just trying to get a green card.
Yeah, and I don't know how. I lost my dress on the way there. I'm like on the airplane, lost my fucking luggage. So I had to wear this like, I never wear revealing things. So I remember wearing this shirt, and I swear to God, my areolas were in my eyes. And I was like, I was so self-conscious. I was like trying to put the trophy. It was a whole thing. You know what I mean? I'll never do it again. And I usually wear t-shirts and baggy pants. And I'm like up there with my fucking guns sitting on the stage. Everyone's like, what is going on right now? She's drunk or high and her tits are out of her fucking head. Too much.
Okay, so even your good ideas, we have some questionable repercussions here.
I don't take compliments well, so that's that too.
Okay, well, we really like you. I just want you to think about that before you go to bed tonight. Okay, so when I kind of gave you the criteria, the general idea of the podcast, what are some bad ideas that you thought of?
Okay, so this is the first one that came to my mind. When I first started stand up, I thought I was really original and I would do wacky shit. So there's this one thing that I would do. Do you know the song The Baby Elephant Walk? It's like do 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 do. That it used to be on the old Fido phones.
Yeah, that sounds very
Okay.
familiar, actually. Yes.
So my closing bit for way too long, I would go on stage, put the microphone beside my phone, play that, and just do this really weird dance that had no context, no joke. And I would do it like it would bomb, and I would continuously do it. And I'm talking like a year, maybe 2 years. I did this bit. I'm like, okay, straight. Didn't give it up. Bad idea. Then I started doing this other bit that I thought was so funny. And here's the thing: when I have to realize is whenever I find something really hilarious, it's not funny. So I used to do because I'm like I want to do impressions, but not like normal impressions. So I used to. I used to draw a face on the bottom of my foot and I cut out a wig and I put it in my toes. I do this all backstage. And I put wig hair in my toes and I would be like, hey, do you guys want to see my impression of Keith Richards? And everyone would be, yeah, Keith Richards. And then I would take my shoe and sock off and put it up on like literally put it on the stool at a comedy. This is a comedy club. This is Yuck Yucks, downtown Toronto, full crowd. And I would just put my bare foot up and go, Keith Richards. No one's laughing. It's not funny. It makes no sense. It looks nothing like Keith Richards.
Was there a voice that went with it or anything? Or you were just like, look at
no voice. Just a foot with wig hair in it. It was so fucking stupid. Did that more than once. And I'm like, do I not get the hint that these are not fucking good?
And these are your closers?
Oh, well, that one I think was an opener, which also, why open with that?
That's true. I guess opener closer doesn't really matter.
Either way, it doesn't matter. Another horrible idea. So I have a sketch partner, Allison Hogg. We're part of Lady Stash. And we literally, and look, believe it or not, we literally were about to pitch pretty much the exact same premise as Broad City. So we had our whole pitch together. It was gonna be two girls in the city, one kind of slutty one that's like one a family, whatever. This whole situation. I don't know if that's I've never watched Broad City since.
Because you're too mad about it. Yeah.
So fucking mad.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Right after Broad City came out, everyone's like, okay, well, you can't pitch this. And I was like, no, we are pitching it. So I kept him like, no one wants this. So we tried to like revamp it in a way where we were going to play like every character of Broad City. Like it made no sense.
Like
it was
Eddie Murphy, Broad City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Literally that. And I was like, are we out of our minds? Obviously it went nowhere. And it definitely hindered us from pitching other things. Feel like, oh, that's the two girls that want to pitch Broad City over and over again. I also tried for a long time, and this is very specific. I tried to pitch a podcast called Bodcast, where I would exclusively interview people in body casts. And I pitched it for such a long time. Like I'm talking, I just gave up on this like 3 months ago. Like I have been pitching this. Like one night was high and I was like, podcast. And then I like wrote out this pitch. I literally took it like all things comedy. Like I'm not joking. I was like dead serious. I'd like go into meetings like, got a podcast for everybody. And they're like, what the fuck is this? And in my head, I'm like, this is so funny and cool. And I'm like, first of all, it's a podcast. No one would see. This is before everyone was filming their podcast. Like no one would see that the person's even in a full body cast. Why did I think this was? It was so fucking stupid.
And I just feel like I'm sure you have to be in a full body cast for a long time, but that's like, if I was in a full body cast, I wouldn't be like, you know what, bring on the podcast. Let's do some interviews during this time. That would you? Like, had you thought about the logistics of that part? Like, how would you find people that were in? No. Okay.
I was like, I'm like, what I call hospitals. They're not going to give me any information. The whole thing made no sense whatsoever. And even like I have a really sweet manager. She's like, okay, well, maybe just think of some other ideas. And I'd be like, no, this is a good idea. And I remember being for so long. She's like, finally. So now it morphed into Steph Infection, which is a much better premise.
Yes.
Makes way more sense, way more relatable. Also,
because it's more like it's like anything that's going on with your body type of thing. Steph Infection. Okay. And this would have been specifically people who had some, I don't know, full body burns or some type of horrendous.
Really injured. If you're in a full body cast, you might mentally not be there anymore. And I'm just like sitting there, like serving them soup at the same time. Like I really don't think. I think I just thought the name Bodcast was so funny and cool, and then I Googled it. Turns out lots of other podcasts out there. A lot of bodybuilders.
I was gonna say when you first said that, I thought you might be interviewing people who are like buff.
No,
Like
no,
just
you,
like
you would have
people with
thought that.
abs.
No, no, absolutely not.
In a
Absolutely not.
full body cast. I mean, I don't even know how many, like what number that would give you, even if every single person right now that's in a full body cast was like, sure, I'll do it. I don't know how many people at one time are often in full body casts.
I truly couldn't tell you. I don't think it's a high number. Turns out.
I hope
Turns
not.
out
That
this
would be.
podcast. It's not happening. We're not doing that anymore.
Well, maybe that's what more. We do have a theory here that sometimes bad ideas will morph into a good idea or lead you somehow to a good idea, and that's what your current podcast is kind of.
Yeah, sure.
Finally, once you agreed to get away from the full body cast thing, then it led to something else.
So fucking stupid. I will say, what I have been doing over the last year, because I was told by a lot of people, if you just keep pumping out videos on Instagram, your numbers will grow. And I'll tell you right now, it's been a bad idea because they absolutely are not. I was pumping out almost 5 videos a week during the pandemic.
Gosh,
like I was going mental.
Yeah.
And I'd get myself so stressed out if I didn't have one done or ready to go, whatever. Like that's why today I'm like, I gotta get a video on Instagram. I haven't moved. My followers have absolutely not moved on Instagram. And I'm
really?
like, this is a bad idea because I feel absolutely nutty at this point. Like I'm like, I just filmed one now where I'm like drinking white wine. What time is it? Noon, and I'm doing a full like. It's.
It is. I can commiserate with that a bit because during the pandemic, I just focused on YouTube. That was kind of the platform that I chose to focus on, and it worked out in whatever regard where it's monetized now, which is why I started to do this. I didn't even want to do it as a podcast. Don't tell Helium that. But I just wanted more videos to put up because I was stressing myself out too because I was doing like sketches and then finding old stand-up clips and like just trying to find something each week or two each week is what I was trying to do of longer videos. And it does. Like you're thinking about it where you're like, oh shit, I didn't put anything up. You know, like but I have to say that I really enjoy all of your sketches and stuff. Like it was very helpful during the pandemic for some people. So don't feel like it was a complete waste. I don't know. No,
I shouldn't. I feel that's very negative for me to say that, but it's also just because I'm like, I've seen a couple people who have done it and they have gone like skyrocketing. And I'm like,
yeah,
well, what the hell have I done wrong? I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm not putting out stinkers. I mean, some of them are stinky. Some of them are pretty bad.
Well, when you're doing 5 in a week, one's going to be not as good as the other one. You know what I mean? Like that's just what's going to happen. But I don't think because you had didn't one get shared? Oh, actually I showed it to my mom.
The Costco one? It's like a lot of the moms saw the Costco one.
The watching TV with your mom, that one.
Oh yeah, that one, the one that E-News
said I was going to say, didn't it?
I lost my fucking mind. Like I think in total now almost like 10 or 12 million people have seen it. But the first chunk of people didn't tag me in it. And it was an absolute nightmare. And I had to like get my manager involved. It was like I had in writing too. I said, yeah, in capitals. I'm like, you can share my video if you tag me. And I put at Steph Tolev right there. And then I started looking at all the comments. Who is this person? And I'm like, so I had to go through like hundreds of comments, tagging myself and being like, fuck you, E-News. Oh my big nightmare. And then somebody else just asked me the other day to use a video. And I said, yes, if you tag me, and I haven't seen any tags. I'm like, they fucking did it again.
Which is such a fucking easy thing to do. I don't understand why that's so difficult. It's not even, you don't even have to, I don't even know. Like it's just a tag.
You're paying nothing. You're stealing my fucking shit. Like that's all you can do. It's so easy. Like I know another comic, Sarah Michelle Gellar took his tweet this week. Noah Findling, if you know him, a very funny comic, took his tweet and erased where it was from and posted on her Instagram story like it was hers. Like took away the name. Like it's like, fuck you, bitch. Or fucking tag him. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, why is it that, like, we're all not thinking that Sarah Michelle Gellar thought of that either.
Yeah,
you
literally.
Know what I mean?
Like it's also, she has like 4 million followers or something. Like, just tag these people. It could really help their following. Like, it's so easy and nothing for you. If you're going to also take their shit, that's a bad idea.
That is a bad idea.
Not tagging people for their content, especially because
mean. Well, I feel like every celebrity account now is probably not run by them, but it is just reposting other shit all the time. Which, if it's there, you could be helpful to the person who actually thought of it. Yeah, who is clearly more creative than you. Or they're like what's the point?
Crazy on the loudest truck in the world. I went crazy on the E-News one because they tagged the guy after me. And I saw the full tag and he went up 10,000 followers in fucking 2 hours. And I was like, oh my fucking Christ. Like the problem is they don't realize that helps us get booked at like comedy clubs and stuff.
Yeah, it's such a
These people
dumb
don't care.
process, but it
we
really
need
is.
Like it actually helps us. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah. Oh God. Anyway, sorry, that was a little bit of a rant. But
Big rant there.
your
I do have
videos are
another
great.
advice thing, but it's personal. This is, I think, is a personal thing. I'm sure someone else has said this before, but I highly recommend never getting back with an ex. If you break up with somebody, ta-ta, you did it for a reason.
We have not had this one, so I like that you. Yes, let's go into it a little bit. We've had some other relationship or this was a bad sign from the get-go and we still ended up together type of stories, but not getting back with an ex. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what led? Well, if you don't mind me asking some questions here.
No, go ahead. Ask away.
What was the original breakup about that you were able to get over and get back with him?
The original breakup was very sad. He was not emotionally available and I didn't think he loved me. So I was constantly like, do you love me? Do I look pretty? Like it was really fucked up. And I just felt weird constantly asking these questions. And then we broke up and then I broke up with him. And then he got almost too emotional. Like this opened the floodgates. And then it was like, and like everything came out, like all these things that I had wanted for the last 3 years had like all come out at one time. And then, it got bad. He ended up mildly stalking. The cops had to get called one night. And then after all of that, I did in fact date him for a bit after.
Oh, wait, no. So wait, okay.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yes, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe cue us in on why after the stalking situation you were like, well, this is the emotion I was looking for. So
I was like, I guess he does love me. I guess he did love me the whole time. Now he's finally showing his feelings and like showing how I wanted to be treated. Like it was very bad. My friends were very upset with me and it was a very, very bad idea. So this is a very specific situation, but I'm just like thinking back on like, anybody I had broken up with, it's like you break up with somebody for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, you forget that after you're like, oh, but I miss them and all this fucking bullshit. But it's like, no. Like, think of the times that you were like crying and upset and like up, like not, like also you shouldn't be questioning if your partner loves you. Like, don't be with that person.
That's absolutely true. But you should, I mean, it's the romanticizing or going with like, oh, they've changed afterwards and I think people can grow. But I don't know if they can change that much enough to where if you were like, no, this is too much for me, enough to break up, to be like, you've changed enough where you like there's other people that would be.
Yes. And changing that quickly. It's like that was like overnight. So it's like, okay, and here we are. Like it seems too much.
So when you got back together, then what happens? I mean, obviously it didn't work out, but
clearly it was very bad. No, it was very toxic.
Was it the same type of thing where he wasn't able to be there emotionally? Or was he still
there
too
was
much?
Like a lot of like he couldn't get over people I had slept with during our break, and it was like a big situation with that, and it was too much.
Okay, well, yeah, the stalking is a sign of extreme emotion to like an uncontrollable level. So then, if that comes into the relationship later, all right. So, are you telling our listeners / viewers if they're thinking about getting back with an ex, don't?
Yes. Okay. That's exactly what I'm saying. There's you broke up for a reason is not meant to be.
That's good. Okay. That's good. We've turned it into advice here. This is great.
Yeah. I love giving advice.
That's good. Okay. Any other, because I do have a few other questions about some of the beginning. You went real quick.
Ask away. I went really quick. Ask away. Yeah. We can go back.
Okay. So we started with the baby elephant.
Uh-huh.
You never mentioned it in your act at all or like, how did you segue into playing the song and stuff?
I straight up would just go, okay. And here we go. Like my stand up when I first started made absolutely no sense. I was like, I swear to God, I was like, without the watermelon, I was Gallagher. I would be like yelling about nothing. Swear to God, I was mental. I would go on stage. I would talk so fast. You wouldn't even know what I was saying. I was so nervous and I was so energetic. Like I'm still like that on stage now, but I've definitely honed it down and it makes sense now. But it was like, it was fucking wild. And then I just thought this dance was so funny in my head. And it's like, I always think this too, which is like a very weird thing. I don't know if you find this with your videos, whatever I put out and I'm like, this is so fucking funny, bombs.
We have talked about this in here so many times, but yes.
It's because it's so like that video that you showed your mom.
Yeah.
I did that in maybe 15 minutes. I was like, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like I did this one. I don't know if you saw the Barb on the Barge one. It's so stupid. It's like me on my pontoon boat. I made my sister film it. She's like, this sucks. She's like, this isn't funny. I'm like, I don't care. I need to put a video. It was literally that. I'm like, I don't care. Put a video out. And then literally put my phone away. Next day, people are tweeting me like, this tweet's gone viral. I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, I was like, I didn't even find it funny. I'm like, this is stupid. I was also wearing a dog wig. Like it was so stupid. Like, it's always, it doesn't make any sense when it's like, the stuff that you think, or the jokes that I'll put out there. I'm like, this joke's going to go viral. And then it doesn't. I'm like, okay. Well,
I have the exact same experience. Exact same. Like we've talked about it a bunch of times where I'm like, I need to just put more stuff, be more confident because the stuff I think is really good and I'm like really meticulous about making it doesn't go as well. And then I'll just throw something up and it'll be far more popular. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, do I not understand what is going on? Like, I probably don't, but
I don't think anything makes sense anymore. I think TikTok has made things not make sense.
No. And I was talking about this with my fiance. If I was the algorithm guy, I would absolutely change it all the time. Like I know it changes and it's like, anybody feeling comfortable or whatever, like he gets to be in control. It's a man, I assume. He's a person in my head. Gets to decide like, oh, you're getting too confident with the way you're posting, so I'm going to switch over and now this person gets all the views and this, so then you think you have it down and then it changes every time.
Well, that's what it does do on TikTok though. I literally went from a video last week getting 1.2 million views. And then my last 3 videos have gotten maybe 2,000.
Yeah.
And then it's just like a weird thing. And I do believe it's run by men because every single video I do that has anything remotely slightly negative towards a man gets taken down, and all of my stand-up clips get flagged for community guidelines.
Community service.
I can barely put stand-up clips up anymore because they all get taken down.
Really?
So now I can't get verified on TikTok because I've violated the guidelines so many times. And then I like all of a sudden see like a teenager wearing no shirt and just like nipples and doing like a wet t-shirt contest in their backyard. I'm like, oh, that's allowed somehow. Right. Or me being like, oh, I can't date short men, they're gross. And then they're like, TikTok's like, get this bitch out of here. Like,
that's too mean to crazy. Short men, which is hilarious because those get taken down, but all of the comments, not all of them, but a lot of the comments under my stand-up videos are like, women aren't funny. And I'm like, it's not for you then. Here, if you don't like it, it's not for you. That's a very simple rule to live by. But yeah, then I'm like, okay, so we get attacked no matter what, but then one joke mentions that short men aren't as cool or whatever. And they're like, nope, that's mean. You got to get out of here.
Well, I posted on some all-girl group on Facebook. Some girl was saying how she got ghosted by this guy they've been dating for months, whatever. And I literally just commented, men are garbage. And Facebook sends me a huge thing saying your account is suspended. You're about to lose your Facebook account because of this comment. And I'm like, are you fucking mentally ill? I lost my fucking mind and I appealed it. And I was like, how fucking dare you? I screenshotted so I went to all my videos that I had posted on Facebook. I have some being like, oh, this girl, she could take a cock with that. That's why she sounds like this, because she's been gargling cock. Look at this fat bitch. She looks like a fat troll, like a horrible comment. And I go, how the fuck is this allowed, TikTok? I say men are garbage as a whole, not one specific. And I have people adding me at Steph Tolev, you're an ugly fat bitch. And it's like, oh, that's allowed.
They don't get, yeah.
That was so wild.
That's really so fucking insane. And it sucks that it is like part of, you're right. Like we will get booked more if I have more TikTok followers or whatever the fuck. Like it's part of our job. And you're like, I have to just sit here and like let that. I delete them all. Actually, I go through, which I think is the only way to really irritate a troll is like nobody can see it anymore. So I just delete it. But it drives me because then I have to wake up and I look at shitty, terrible things about myself and then delete them. But that's like how I start my day.
Every single morning on TikTok, I delete and I just literally had the fucking craziest. The craziest one was this guy with a full squid tattoo in his face. Like literally it started here and went all the way down here, massive squid, like tentacles coming up the side.
That's a bad idea.
And he literally commented on one of the videos, wow, it's Danny DeVito's female version of the penguin. And I'm like, you have a squid on your face. I don't know what to tell you, man.
You're like, what? You're so unattractive. You thought it would be better to cover it up with a squid. And you're attacking other people. Come on, man.
Literally. Yeah, that's wild.
That's so stupid. Oh, that's dumb. That happened to me once too, in a females group as well. I had just had a bad experience the night before with like a guy after a show, or just men on the show saying shitty things, and it was kind of the only place I felt like I could vent. And I think it was the comments in general. Like I didn't even say. I just kind of explained the situation, and then of course women were talking about it and being like, oh, this is garbage. And Facebook turned off the comments. Like, it wasn't the administrators of the group or anything. Like, Facebook turned it off itself because they were being mean or whatever. It was ridiculous.
Oh my, it's so sensitive.
Oh yeah.
Cucks.
Yeah, you can say it on here. That'll be fine. YouTube's on my side.
Insane.
Oh
Absolutely.
God. Okay. All right. Sorry. So the elephant dance, which was great. So was it going well? I guess you said it wasn't going very well, but how was the audience reacting to you just dancing to this?
I think because I would do it for so long, they would start to dance. It was one of those like bits where like dance. They would start to laugh. They would be like,
it's like they're up to. It's like
they're
Ellen.
up dancing. They're like, oh yeah, this is a good dance. They would be like, it would go on for so long, and I think it was also that like that uncomfortable laughter.
Yeah.
Not like they're really enjoying themselves. Like they don't leave the club going, wow, that one dance was so funny. They're leaving going, that was too long and made me feel weird. Like that was that kind of.
She really committed to that. Yeah.
Really committed, because I would do it for at least 2 minutes. Like it wouldn't be a quick thing.
That's where like they laugh at first, then it dies down, and then they laugh again, and because they're like, "Wow, this is still going. That's great."
Yeah, and then I think they would applaud a lot when I got off because they're like, "It's over.
It's over.
We don't have to see that anymore." Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that one too. Okay, bless you. Oh, it was rapid fire today. I have had a great time. Thank you so much for being on and sharing with us. Can you tell people where they can find you, where they can follow you and find your videos and all that stuff, because they're hilarious and you work very hard.
Well, thank you. Instagram at Steph Tolev is where I need the followers. Please, God, please listen to my podcast, Steph Infection. If you can handle some gross, dirty shit, talk to some weird people. It's available and everything. Comes out every Monday. Please listen to that.
Nice. Are you doing live shows and stuff, or are you just?
I am. Yeah. You can check out my tour dates at StephTolevishilarious.com. I regret buying that, and now we're stuck in it. So it was too long now, as I've had it for like 10 years.
Steph
So there we
Tolev
are.
is hilarious. Okay, I guess that is a longer.
Stupid.
We'll tag you and everything. Don't worry. Everyone, go find Steph. Check it out. What are you on TikTok? Just Steph Tolev.
Yeah, everything.
Look at that. You got your name and everything.
Mm-hmm. Or Step Toilet on Twitter.
That's pretty good. I like that. Stupid. All right. Well, check Steph out. Go find all her stuff and Steph Infection. That's super easy. Look, you finished listening to a podcast. You're probably already in podcast app. Check it out. Go find Steph Infection. If you're here on YouTube, you can subscribe right here to this channel, or we have YouTube memberships. If you want behind the scenes from this show, full stand-up sets from me, other videos that only go to YouTube members. And then, MonicaNevi.com. I'm touring again. Come see me live. Lots of stuff going on. But right now, you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.